Welcome to another Enjoying Art member painting hour. Before we start it, please give this video a like, share with your friends, and turn on notification so you will not going to miss any watercolor lesson like this. I'm going to wet the paper first, a little wet, so I'm going to wet the entire paper. Paper I'm using is Artisan watercolor paper, 140 pound cold press, and I'll put the link in the video description. And this paper is also 100% cotton. If you think it's just too wet, you can use the tissues or paper towel to lift up the excess one. Now actually I'm just remove all the wet from my brush. Now I'm gonna lift it just one time from the top to the bottom so that the paper surface is not gonna be too wet. Now I just lift up the excess. Most of the time I just use the brush to do everything that I need to do. That's just good. I remember we see the photo reference a week before the event. So if you want to have a little closer learning with us, please come to join us. Now first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make the foundation layer. I'm going to have a little gray color, have a little red like this, and a little bit more red. So make a little bit more gray with these two colors. Now this is good. Now I'm going to start from the top, the first layer. I could also, without wetting it with the water, I can wet it with this gray color. I'm going to get the yellow and a little red, but because my brush already have some blue color, so it's not gonna be a pure orange color, so that's good. I'm gonna have this color, little orange gray color, a little bit more red, like that. Okay, now this is good. At the bottom over here, it turned into a little bit orange color, so I'm gonna have a little bit more red at the bottom. Okay, like that. That's good. Coming through from the left to the right. Okay, so this is the foundation. First, on top of this, I'm going to start putting other variety colors. So you can see the sky have different layers. You need to be aware of the water and the pigment. Whatever you add to it, it's going to create texture. And the texture would convey some information that you intentionally put it on or unintentionally because of the effect. Now I'm going to put this color. The color is going to start moving, and it's going to moving really fast. Depends on how wet the paper it would be. So I'm going to try it and put it on over here. That is, and expect it's going to change. So as I'm moving, and I'm going to start changing the color. Now on this side, I'm going to have a little bit more red in here. Now get a little red. I'm going to let go some of the water in the brush. It just take a little more red, maybe a little bit too much red. So I'm going to see. I'm going to put it right in here. Okay, a little bit too much red, so I let go of that and mix the new color. Have a little bit the blue color, so that's good. And you're gonna watch how the color is gonna move. So don't do too much, and just keep it there and let it be. And I'm gonna under over here. I'm gonna have a little bit color, just a little bit more blue. A little bit more pure blue. Most of the time I use Winsor and Newton, and I have a material page, enjoyingart.com. I list all the materials that I use regularly. The address is enjoyingart.com/store. Okay, now I come down over here a little bit lighter blue. Now I have a little another cloud over here. So coming on this side, I'm gonna have a little bit softer transition, like this. And now right underneath,
I'm gonna also have some red color. I'm maybe just gonna take this red color, and here you go. Now right over here, so the blue color now is gonna coming down, so you're gonna meet this red color. I'm gonna have a little bit more red, and here you go, a little bit more red, a little bit brighter, like that, and then have a little blue. So with painting the sky, you really need to be brave. It's just paint it. You see how it's gonna look like. Coming over here, I'm just gonna use the water. I'm gonna have it a little bit softer coming down, and coming over here, I even lift up a little bit, maybe a little bit too much coming down. Now you're gonna use lifting to get some variety details, and now lift it up over here, and here you go. I'm gonna have a lift up a little bit over here too, so you can see the volumes of this cloud. Okay, it's still wet, the whole thing wet. Now I'll come back over here. Now also gonna lift up, just use the corner of the brush for some smaller lift up, a smaller shape. Okay, like that. So this is wet into wet, the whole process. Just lift up a little light space, like this. It's alright, it's good. Oh, they are getting from a Asian supermarket. And if you have one in nearby your location, go take a look. Go into the area that you can buy the bowl, the teacup, and you can find this. If you've never been Asian supermarket, there's a lot of things over there you may be used for your artist practice. Oh, that's good. Now I'm gonna lift up a little bit more over here. I'm gonna have a little bit lighter, so that it echo the areas on the left hand side. As this watercolors is very interesting media that you can always think about something at the moment, and you can try it and immediately. Now I'm still working with the changes, the volumes. Now I coming to the bottom over here, and I'm gonna think aware of the timing. Now because I work on the lifting and the color now getting a little dry, now I'm gonna come back over here to put a little bit darker shade at the bottom here. I'm gonna lift up a little bit over here too. I'm gonna define the edge a little bit better, and you see how easy that you can modify the watercolor. You just need to know when and how you're gonna make the effect happen. Okay, I'm gonna move it on here, and coming on this side, I'm gonna just lift up so you can have the nice sky like that. I use only the side of this flat brush. You can look at that, beautiful. Okay, coming over here, here you go, like that. Now I'm gonna add some little darker shade. Now it's a little bit dry, but it's not that dry, so I'm gonna add a little darker color. Here you go, a little darker color. I'm gonna start over here, and maybe a little bit too dark, and I'm gonna have a little bit, and making sure. Well, that would be the other thing is you can wet the paper with the brush, and then paint it over. That means talk about that after the paper completely dry. Okay, so you can do anything you want at that time. That's just easy. So now coming on this side, now I'm gonna have a little bit. I'm gonna make this a little bit deeper, like that. It's still a little wet, but be careful what you putting the new color in. If the new color is too much water, and may start going to pushing the paper area that is not as much of water compared to your new paint. In that case, it would push the color around, have feeling kind of mushroom, which is you are seeing now. And I'm gonna have a little bit color. I'm gonna showing to you. And don't be afraid of it. Try it, and maybe come out to be a different look of sky, but it would be okay. Now I'm gonna connect this like this, and connect all the way over here, and with this wet color all together, and that would become a different look of sky. And maybe have a little bit red on this side. When you do watercolor, you have to have open-minded. Like I say, you don't have to say, I have to have this, I have to exactly like this. I'm really control freak, and that would not probably good enough for to painting the watercolor. You have to have an open mind and play with your result. And over here, I'm gonna leave a little bit more. I decided to move this. Oh, I love that, and some kind of accidental effect. And I want to actually make this a little bigger like that. Let's see. Here you go. You can have something really, really different from what you expected at the beginning. I'm gonna move this up a little bit. I'm gonna keep lifting up over here. I'm gonna leave a little bit more. Have some hard edge like that. Okay, like this. Good for everyone that you have the confidence. It makes you to feel like you can control the chaotic and situation. And if you can control the watercolor, I think in the relationship, in the real life, you will feel more like enjoying calm and less panic, whatever happened to you. You can see that watercolor is just, the water is just not really that much about controlling the water. It's about how you use the water, make the most of it for what you are looking for. I'm gonna make that a little bit like that. That's just good. Actually, I like this effect, but I need to connect these two sides together so it look a little bit more connected. Try to see the connection between this. It's very important to use a large brush, because you use a small brush, the texture will be too much. I'm gonna make this a little bit lighter too. I don't want to have totally so persistent from here all the way to the bottom. So I'm gonna have this a little bit lighter like that. So a different time of rendering and different look, and you don't know what you're expecting right now. Now getting to the bottom over here, I'm gonna just have a little blue color. Now I'm gonna come down over here. It's a good idea to get away from one area after a little while. Otherwise, you're gonna get really crazy and you're gonna be too intense with your mind. And then come to the bottom over here. Here you go. I'm gonna have a little cloud, and afterward, I'm gonna paint the land, so you can see the whole painting how it looked like finished with the sky. And I'm gonna come all the way over here. Now on this side, here you go. I'm gonna get a little bit blue cloud. Here you go. Now it's very, very relaxing and simple, like that. Coming on this side. Okay, that's a beautiful sky at the bottom over here. Now looking at the top, I really like this kind of effect. I'm gonna keep that, but what I'm looking for here, I'm gonna move this area a little bit higher. So I'm gonna move that a little bit like that. Have a little bit hard edge like that. And the sky is, yeah, it's closer and closer, but you need to keep updating your expectation. Okay, I'm gonna have a little red color. Now this is a little bit too wet. I'm gonna have this actually connected the bottom over here like that. having a little red color coming down over here. And I think that's getting somewhere. I'm gonna soften the edge over here, make it come down a little bit, connect it like that, and connect that a little bit. Actually, I'm going to have a little bit blue color. See how quick I can change my mind. I'm gonna have a little blue color coming down over here like that. I can push it right into the paper, the wet area. I'm gonna connect these two things together. And now I'm gonna coming down over here, connect to here. Now I'm gonna leave this area. It's much better now after this changes. Okay, now I'm gonna have a little bit red, so make it a little bit more gray. Okay, that's good, like this. Okay, now on this side, I'm gonna have a little bit red back over here. Get a little red directly from the palette. Okay, that's beautiful. See, soft changes. And now on this side, I'm gonna have a little bit gray coming on this side, and also the sky in the distance here. I'm gonna have so also a little bit shape like that. Let me see. Is anything else? I need to do the final touch at the last minute. Over here now I'm going to leave this. I'm gonna make this to be the lightest of the whole clouds sky area. I'm gonna make this even lighter. You can do the final adjustment. Let's just lift it up. We have the basic watercolor library in the learning center. So if you remember, keep using that as your learning resources. Have over more than 1,000 full-length videos. If you're not a member, just come to join us. It doesn't cost you much. Okay, over here, maybe a little bit sharper edge over here too, like that. It's just squinting your eye to see if are you happy with what you're getting. If you're anything that you're not happy, it's just layer over layer. You can change things. Okay, make sure the painting match your feeling. That is just the highest standard for yourself. Open up how you feel. I'm gonna do a little adjustment before I come to paint the land. I'm gonna create some interesting shape. Also, at the same time, I'm gonna remove and soften some color. For example, over here, I think this texture a little bit too overwhelming, so I'm going to use a lot of water, wet this area. And the key is you have to have enough water, otherwise you're going to create more texture because you try to make it less texture, right? Sometimes you just a little few times of moving your soft brush and it's already accomplished what you try to do, right? Now the texture is gone. Now at least it's not so pronounced. That's just good. So the other thing I'm gonna do, come back a little bit later, I'm gonna set a little color over here. So that texture is gone away. I'm gonna open up a little bit light area over here. So I'm gonna use this brush now softly. Okay, don't scratch it much. Softly, really gentle. Really gentle. What I want, I just want it to be a little bit lighter. It's not too light. Okay, I don't need to return the white color of the paper. It just needs to a little bit lighter, like that. That's good enough. So I have some variety from this color turn to a little bit lighter. At this point, you really be careful about not making too much paper texture. Now I just soften, and this is already beautiful. I'm gonna keep that. I'm also gonna move it, just use the corner of the brush and leave a little bit soft light shape on the side over here, and that's just good. That's good. I'm gonna keep that. Now I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna have this a little bit lighter, so I'm gonna I'm probably just gonna wet the whole paper over here for now, and just going to move a little bit and move a little bit, just circulate the motion. Now this is good, right? Move a little bit, now become a little bit lighter. Like that. That's how you are going to, at the end, modify the look to meet your own original impression. And like that. Now I come down over here, and looks really good. I probably can lift up a little bit color and just moving it the left to right and make it a little bit like this. And now I'm going to start introduce some color to it. So I'm going to just put a little red, just get the pure red color. Just put it over here like that. And after the first run, and the second run is always a lot more stable, a lot more easy to control. Okay, now I just add a little red color up over here like that. And wait for me a little bit, and I will give you the time to practice that on your own painting. And now coming down over here at the bottom, and I'm going to add, first I'm going to remove some area over here. So I'm going to move it. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. Some artists like to use white paint, gouache paint, and to do that. And I try not to unless I have a special purpose for the white color. Okay, I think this is good enough. It doesn't need to be like as white as is the reference showing, and this is good. And now watch out, this red color coming down a little bit too much, and I'm going to eliminate it by just lift it up, and that's easy. Now at the bottom over here, now I'm going to put a little bit red color here. You see that? I need that red color over here. I like that. The red down here, just like crazy about red color. Okay, right over here. That's good. Now I have a little red color, but maybe a little bit too dark, so I'm gonna lift it up a little bit, and this is good. So it's very stable. Now just use the clean brush, soften the edge over here, like that. It's okay to have some texture sometimes, and this is good, like that. And this a little texture actually looks very interesting. I might just gonna keep it like that. That's very soft, and that's nice. Now at the bottom over here, now the sky look much better. I'm gonna lift up that color and lift it up. This is good. Lift it up over here. I think the sky is much better. Almost like the way I originally wanted it. So I'm going to put a little blue color over here, but also at the same time put a little red color over here. Oh, too much red. I'm going to wash it and just going to put it back over here. Now the color look much better, but I want it to be softer at the top over here, just the water. Okay, just connect it into the space up here. Now the sky looks very interesting. Now before I let go of this, and I'm going to also try to lift a little bit light shape over here. So try to introduce that dynamic shape a little bit light in this corner. I'm gonna try to lift it up. So this brush is very helpful and doing the lifting. Now on the side over here, just gonna take a little blue color, and right over here just introduce a little bit blue color over here. Now it's much better, like that. And here you go. Now I have a little bit. Now I'm ready going to working on the land. I'm gonna introduce a little landscape. I'm gonna have a little warmer color for the land, a little bit more like a brown colors. So I'm gonna have maybe a little bit darker. So I'm not gonna have it so light because I want the land feel like heavier. So I'm gonna take this color. Now here you go. I'm gonna put it right over here. This only like this, almost like a little flat, all the way from the left to the right, like that. Now I have a feeling there is a little bit heavier things coming occupy over here. Now I'm gonna have a little bit yellow color and try to push the color a little bit, have some variety of colors, and because I wanted to showing that is a lot more closer to us. Now I'm going to use a smaller brush, so I'm using this calligraphy brush now, and I'm going to add some darker objects. So I'm going to take the blue color with the red color, and if you need it to be look a little bit green, get a little yellow color like that. That should be good enough. You see how dry this color, right? It's not lots of water in it. So you can take a look. I'm gonna just use the side of the brush. Just keep a little bit look like really open. So you can think about this as trees, but you can think about anything you want. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit over here like that, and give a little rhythm, and a little bit over here. I'm gonna have a little bit over here and have a little bit higher. I'm trying to create a feeling of the far away, very open space. I'm gonna put a little bit over here too. I'm gonna come back with a little bit different colors, a little bit lighter colors, and so on. I'm gonna keep that look, make it a little bit interesting, like that. And now I'm gonna change the color a little bit. And I'm gonna use a little bit yellow color mixed into here, so it looked like a little bit lighter version of the green. I'm gonna tap it over here, so I have some variety in here. So I'm gonna have this a little bit higher over here too. Make a little color different. Just keep thinking about that. That's the overall feeling that you try to create combined with the sky. Now over here, keep a little bit over here. And earlier when I put the yellow color into the land over here, it create a nice texture feeling, a soft texture, but it's a feeling of changings of things. So now I'm gonna have a little bit darker color. Okay, I'm gonna add even a little bit darker, but really dry. I'm gonna have a little bit here. I'm gonna add that in here, thinking about how those different colors. And now the paper get a little bit drier, so what you put it in now, it will be different from like a couple minutes ago. It will be look different. Okay, it's just a little bit. Now I'm gonna introduce a little vertical line. So a little vertical line, and a little bit like that, and maybe a little line at the front over here. Now it introduces some nice interesting contrast, because right now most the shape is at horizontal and soft, so you're gonna have a little bit, maybe some a little bit like that, and I think this painting is good enough.
If you are an Enjoying Art member, please come to join us every Friday. We paint together. If you're not yet a member, please turn on notification so you are not going to miss any future videos.